So I continue to think about mental clutter and what mental clutter we have and why it's there. And I want to talk about a piece of mental clutter that has been with me forever, or as long as I can remember. And part of that comes from, my feeling like the business isn't doing, super great yet, and it must mean I'm not good at it. And I know that's a falsehood. I have to ask myself, is that true? It's not true. But there are times it feels that way as the progress is slow. And I have a great blog post about slow. It's coming soon. Anyway, as a kid, I just never felt good at math, which hurt because my father has a PhD in chemical engineering and applied physics, and my mom has master's degrees in library science and in computer programming. And I did really well in grade school, and something happened in middle school. Part of it was switching schools, and some of it was, a different environment. I went from public school to private school. But I had a math teacher. I'm going to talk about him, Josh Abrams. Someone get this video to him. He always believed in my ability, and I never did. And he sat me down one day as I was saying yet again, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at math. And he asked me something about gymnastics, because at the end of the day, I probably wasn't super great at school because I was so fully invested in gymnastics and not fully invested in school. So he asked me, how long is a floor routine? And I was like, floor routine's a minute and a half. Why? More questions. How long is a beam routine? About a minute and a half. Okay. And what about a bar routine? And I'm like thinking in my head, I don't even know. I was a gymnast. I didn't even know. I was like 20 seconds. I don't know. I'll have to record next time I'm watching some gymnastics on TV. And then how long is vault? And I was like, as long as it takes to run 50 yards, hit a board, hit a vault, flip, and land on the ground. And he said, I think I have figured out one of your problems. What? And he said, you are at your happiest when you're doing those things. And so it's an intense attention to detail during a minute and a half. But after that, so what? Not necessarily so what, but I think you're getting the idea. And he said, and I think it speaks to the fact that it takes a lot longer than a minute and a half to figure out some math problems. And if they're hard math problems, more than a minute and a half feels even longer and harder. And it was like, poof. And I think we were busy blaming it on my love of gymnastics, but let's be real here. 40 years ago, no one was talking about ADD, or if they were definitely not talking about girls having ADD. And, or mood disorders, because mood disorders can also, seriously affect attention span. So why am I talking about this? Because I still feel like every once in a while my attention span is no longer than a minute. And what's amazing is I'm now at 3 minutes, which is super long for my videos. But it has given me the opportunity to get real on this idea of attention. So one of the things that I have been learning from my business coaching plan is about not doing too much. And I've been promoting this with my coaching clients, a big deal is to not multitask. We think people who are really great at what they do multitask. And when in fact, the people who are really great at what they do sit down, focus on one thing, see it to completion, as opposed to, well, I'm going to move from this to that and that to this and this to that. And none of them are complete. And most of them we're even more stressed because we haven't completed it and we're all over the place. And so I've made a commitment to my clients that I'm not going to do a lot of task switching. I've made a commitment to myself that I'm not going to do all of this multitasking. And I've kind of also made a commitment to my coaching program that I'm going to complete a task and then move on to the next one. Or if I have decided it's okay to not complete the task, which is true, I am going to do this much of it and table it and move on to the next thing. And I'm going to do this much of that and then table it and maybe go back to the first thing or something different, as long as I'm not expecting myself to move back and forth in a very short period of time. So I kind of hope you stuck around for the 5 minutes, because I know there are a lot of us out there that, are angry that we weren't diagnosed with ADD when we were much younger, or feel like we have ADD, or menopause brain, mommy brain, whatever you want to call it. That it's okay to feel like, we can't always be at our best, and just do our best as often as we can, with a real investment in feeling accomplished, as opposed to feeling like we have failed yet again.